Hey there YouTube, how are you doing today? It is Sketchbook Habit Day 4 and today I'm having fun, and I feel like the more I do this the better I get. I'm not sure if you remember day 1 I mentioned that my goal for this week is to simply show up and just put in the work, and I have no expectations for myself to do something great, to level up my skill sets, to try a new medium. I just wanted to build up the momentum and the discipline into making this a habit. And today I feel like I had that moment of this is a sketchbook session. It's not, very tense, serious, I must make phenomenal artwork. It was like, oh, I can just noodle around. I can just freely make marks and just see how things go and have that nice balance of trial and error with art supplies, but also have that chance to do studies without having to nail it right the first time. So it was rewarding to finally slowly yet surely get into that vibe. For my initial sketch today, I'm using this jumbo rainbow pencil. I really don't use these. It was a gift from a dear friend, and I thought, hey, why not? Let's give it a whirl. And yeah, I have lots to learn with this, but it's fun. I really like how it's unpredictable and it's just lends itself to a very creative art session. Oh yeah, by the way, I am doing a patron portrait of Fitz today. So a patron portrait is essentially where my patrons submit photos for me to draw of them. They give me permission to do videos like these and to do process videos or photos scans for my sketchbook PDF. So huge thank you for letting me draw you today. I immensely appreciate it. It helps me to become a better artist and just practice more portraiture. I'm continuing to use the Daniel Smith watercolors, but this time I'm adding in the Holbein opera in his hair and in his scarf. So I generally keep this color off my palette because one, it is so addicting to use, it just makes everything look beautiful, but it's not light fast and I feel like it becomes a crutch for me. But I want to use it up, and it is my sketchbook, so why not indulge in a little bit of fun? And for his shirt, I use the Holbein in lavender, which is a great opaque color for accenting. It's one of my favorites. And for his skin tones, it's pretty much green gold with quinacridone coral, and sometimes I'll add a little bit of opera in some areas that the scarf reflects into his chin, so that way I just want to kind of keep that color carry throughout the rest of this piece. And for the shadows, I add a little bit of Carbazole Violet, which is your typical dioxazine violet PV23 in most standard watercolor sets. And sometimes I'll add the burnt sienna just to shift it a little bit more warm, like for example in those eyebrows are the burnt sienna and his eyes are actually the Carbazole Violet. I got that right. So many names. So at this point of the painting, I'm kind of just trying to avoid not layering up too much color anymore and just use a fine brush and just place down my details, because I'm finding with this paper that I think we all know that I just don't care for right now, that the more I scrub at it or just even layer it delicately, it just turns into a glob. Like for example, the hair above his ear that kind of just meshed together and turned pulpy. So I'm being creative with my technique and just placing concentrated mixtures and just defining it that way. On a side note, I do want to point out it's rather interesting that the rainbow pencil that I used earlier is no longer noticeable in this watercolor sketch. So I'm very thankful that I went in with a graphite pencil to define some of my details, edges like the nose, the hand, so that way it didn't completely disappear. With the remaining dark mixture of the Carbazole Violet and the burnt sienna and whatever was left on my palette just to kind of neutralize it, I just found myself outlining everything. This was definitely inspired by yesterday's paint session of where I did outline the portrait with a heavy outline, and I don't know, I feel inspired by it right now. I felt this moment in this piece where I could just sit back, relax, and just kind of enjoy the process. And I allowed myself just to ink and not overthink it. And I don't know, that was really refreshing just to see where that will take me. And this is the part of the painting where I kind of just felt like, all right, this paper is not going to accept much more paint before it starts graying up. So this is where I do my last final touches with a little 1/4 inch flat brush. I absolutely love using this brush instead of a round brush because you can get caught up in the little nitty-gritty details with the tip of a round brush. So by limiting yourself to something that's a flat brush, you're making really crisp, sharp edges, and you just really get in and get out and round out the form to make it believable. So I hope that little tidbit helps you out. It really does kind of, it's like the nice bow on top just to pull everything through in the end. Alrighty, dear friends, it's time for me to go. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It was a lot of fun. I look forward to seeing you in day 5. So keep on drawing. I'll see you then, alright? Bye!